Hey everyone! With the release of phasereditor version 4.7, phasereditor now has a built-in web font loader. This new feature allows you to load web fonts directly from the editor, making it easier to use custom fonts in your games. And this is now possible thanks to the new font file API that was introduced in Phaser 3.87. With this new feature, it simplifies the whole process of using custom fonts in your Phaser games. With these new changes, I want to revisit one of my previous tutorials on phasereditor, Whack-A-Monster. In this tutorial, we create a whack-a-mole style game using phasereditor, and in this tutorial we add custom fonts to our game by using a custom phasereditor plugin, and by making use of the awesome Rex plugin for custom fonts. With the newer versions of Phaser 3 and phasereditor, we can simplify this whole process, and so I wanted to make an updated video that shows how to do this. If you haven't seen the Whack-A-Monster tutorial video yet, you can find that here on my channel. There will be a link down in the description down below, as well as on your screen now. One thing to know is in order for you to use the new native font loading features and to make them available in your game, you'll need to be on at least phasereditor version 4.7 and be using Phaser 3.87 or later. If you are on an older version of Phaser 3, then you'll still need to use a custom method for loading web fonts. And so the steps described in the tutorial video will still work with newer versions of the Phaser editor and Phaser 3, but they are not needed. So let's get started. So with the new built-in font loader, adding custom fonts to our Phaser 3 game with phasereditor is really easy. To do this, we need to do the following. First, we need to add our custom fonts to our assets pack folder in our project. Then we need to update our asset pack file to load in these font files. Next, we'll need to update our text game objects to use our new custom font. Then finally, we just want to make sure our version of the Phaser 3 library is on at least 3.87. With these few simple steps, you'll now have custom fonts in your game. So now to update our Whack-A-Monster game with our custom fonts, we first need to go ahead and load in our font files and add them to our asset pack. So previously in our tutorial, when we loaded in our game assets, we added in our fonts folder to our assets folder, but we didn't add these files to our asset pack file since they weren't needed. To use the native custom font loader, we now need to add those files to our asset pack. Alright, so if we go into our fonts folder, if we click on our Creepster regular and our Nocifer regular text files, let's do import as font, and we'll add these to our asset pack JSON file. Alright, so if we open up our asset pack JSON file, we'll see now there's two new entries tied to our font files, and we have our Creepster and our Nocifer text. Alright, so next, now we just need to update our text game objects to use our new custom font. So in our prefabs folder, let's open up our main text prefab, our scene file. And so this is just a simple text game object, and to use your custom font, you just need to update your font family to point to your custom fonts that we loaded in. So for this, we'll choose our Nocifer regular. We'll see right away now in our editor, our text is updated to show our new custom font. Now we'll want to do the same thing for our UI text prefab. So we'll open up that file now. And so for this text game object, we're using Creepster. So let's go ahead and change that to be our Creepster text, and we'll see that gets updated as well. Alright, so one last change we need to do for our project is we need to update our Phaser library version. So in our index.html page, currently we'll see that our Phaser version is 3.86. We just want to change this to be 3.87, so we pull the latest from the CDN. Then while we're here, let's remove the style sheet for our fonts.css file. So with the updates to Phaser 3.87, we no longer have to provide custom CSS to use our custom fonts. Instead, it's just natively supported. Alright, so with those changes, we should now be able to test our game. Alright, so if we go ahead and launch our game, if we go over to our browser, we'll see now our title scene's been updated. We now have our custom font, and when we click, we'll see that our UI is also updated to have our custom font. Alright, so now if we just play our game and wait till the game over, we should see that our game over text is updated as well. And so with these few simple steps, we now have custom font support in our game. Alright, with that brings this video to an end. If you were previously watching the Whack-A-Monster tutorial video and started watching this video for the updated process for using custom fonts, you can now jump ahead to the next section for adding audio in that video. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did enjoy the video, please consider liking the video and hitting the bell icon to be notified when the next video is released. For more great Phaser 3 content, please see the links on your screen now.